You ever get that feeling that no matter who's in charge, things just feel kind of broken? Like the whole political machine is just sputtering along, coughing up smoke, maybe even heading for a ditch? Well, if you do, you're not alone. So let's get into it and try to explain why the system feels so fundamentally busted.
I think my favorite place to start this whole conversation is with this beautiful piece of cynical wisdom. It just perfectly captures that feeling of helplessness, doesn't it? You cast your vote, you cross your fingers, you hope for the best, but in the end, the same old government just gets in. So what is this big, immovable thing we call the government, and why doesn't it ever seem to care what we want?
All right, to really get a handle on today's problems, we've got to rewind the clock a bit. The root of this whole issue, it turns out, started about a century ago with a very, very seductive idea.
And that big idea is called managerialism. This was basically the moment in history when people, on a huge scale, decided, you know what, I'm probably not the best person to manage my own life. Let's get a powerful centralized state to do it for me. I know, it sounds pretty laughable now, but at the time, this idea was a global sensation. So right after World War II, people everywhere started voting for way more state control. Winston Churchill, the guy who just saved the world, literally warned everyone this was a road to serfdom. And what happened? The public promptly voted him out. The idea that the state knows best just went viral. And here we are, living with the hangover from that 100-year-long party.
Okay, so that's the big picture theory. But how does this all play out day to day, inside the political machine? Well, let me tell you, it is not pretty. Welcome to what's been called the greasy pole problem.
Now, this isn't my opinion. This actually comes from someone on the inside. Apparently, the civil service, the people who actually run the country, they operate on the basic assumption that the politician in charge is probably clueless, not really that interested, or, both. The system is literally designed to just keep on rolling whether the minister is paying attention or not. Makes you feel good, doesn't it?
So, if they're not necessarily there to govern, what is their primary job? Well, according to the source material for this explainer, the one thing that unites every single politician, regardless of their party, is getting and keeping power. Their first, second, and third priority is always making sure they get re-elected. And all this kind of builds into this unofficial politician's playbook. Step 1, aim for the top job. Step 2, schmooze your colleagues. Step 3, focus relentlessly on getting re-elected. Which of course leads to the crucial unspoken Step 4. The actual job you were elected to do becomes, well, kind of optional. A distraction, really.
So, you might be wondering, how does this whole dysfunctional system manage to stay afloat? Well, it has a superpower that you and I definitely do not have, the fiat money machine.
Think about your own budget for a second. You have to earn money before you can spend it, right? If you go into debt, there are real consequences. The government's budget? Not so much. When they run out of money, they just create more. And the consequences, like inflation, which makes your money worth less, well, that's a problem for you, not for them.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Here is a politician just straight up admitting it out loud. He said he used to think of the government's budget like a household's, but then he realized, and I'm quoting here, "'cause I can print money." That's the whole game right there. A stunningly honest and, let's be real, a frankly terrifying admission.
So what's the end result of having a magic money printer? Well, it's something called currency debasement. And ever since the world's last link to gold was totally cut back in 1971, the value of our savings has just been in a complete nosedive. This creates this massively unjust system that rewards people who own assets and just punishes anyone trying to save up for their future.
Okay, I know, this all sounds pretty bleak. We've got a system that seems designed for incompetent leaders, and it's powered by a magic money machine. So, are we just doomed to this cycle forever? Or is there actually a way out? What if I told you that the entire political fate of one politician was decided by just 12 people? No, that is not a typo. Only a dozen people actually showed up to the meeting that decided if he could even run for re-election. And that's a shocking truth. A tiny but engaged group of people can have an enormous amount of influence. The system's greatest weakness might actually be its solution.
But this brings us to the central paradox that keeps the whole broken machine running. As voters, we tend to want two things that totally contradict each other. More government spending on all the services we like, and, at the same time, lower taxes for ourselves. Politicians, because they want to get re-elected, promise us both. And the only way to deliver that is to borrow money and devalue the currency. It's just a vicious cycle.
And that leads us to our final and maybe most provocative thought.
If politicians are just responding to these contradictory demands from the public so they can get elected, are they the only ones at fault? Or does the problem maybe start a little bit closer to home? Just something to think about.